From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 58 with Chris and Steve.
Was it 50? Wasn't last week 58?
This is 58. Oh shit! Now you're gonna make me check.
I'll check.
You know what we said just before we started was that we were going to just get right to it rather than getting off on a rant. Last week was 57.
You're right. It is 58.
58. Sorry. I am not an idiot.
I didn't say you were an idiot.
I may be an idiot, but I'm not an idiot in relation to knowing the number of the show. Okay. I remember. I looked it up.
I just used a knuckle semen.
A knuckle? What?
Never mind. What's in the news, Robin?
I'm not. Whoa. No. How does it? What is? Forget it. In the news.
We're going right out of the gate with the news.
Right out of the gate.
Because we keep on giving it short shrift.
Yes, at the end. Kim Davis. Are you familiar with Kim Davis?
I have no idea who that is.
Kim Davis. That's the young woman who...
Was she young? Or
I'm being kind.
Oh.
The young woman who... the woman... I suppose I'm being unkind by saying young when in fact she is not young. I'm kind of making fun of her. The woman from Kentucky, the county clerk from Kentucky, who refused who has been refusing since day one of gay marriage becoming the law of the land. She has been deciding that she would not issue marriage licenses in Rowan County, Kentucky.
See, I just referred to her as that dipshit.
That dipshit. She is 49, so she's not that old.
Well, in comparison to us, she is old.
She's older. She's older.
Yes, but she is also old.
Have you heard about...
We're not changing the subject yet.
We are. For a second. I mean, here's the thing. You know, there's a great... and I should try to find a link for this. The whole issue of James Bond in the upcoming movie Spectre. His love interest is a woman who is approximately his age. And the geeks, the James Bond purists, the whatever, the dumb shit men who make a bad name for the rest of us, they have all decided this is that this woman, Monica Bellucci. Are you familiar with who Monica Bellucci is?
No.
She was the...
Oh, she's that dipshit.
Monica Bellucci is about the same age as Daniel Craig, and she has been and has played the rather attractive girlfriend, love interest in many a movie, including she was in the second Matrix movie as... Oh,
I don't remember that.
The... gosh, what was her character? She was one of... She was
Spaceman Malloy?
The Merovingian guy that they go to get his... get something from him, and she's his wife, girlfriend, whatever, and she makes out with Keanu, I think. Anyway,
hold on to your boners, gents.
She is an attractive woman who is now a little bit older, and the men are up in arms that James Bond should be with a woman. There's been a lot of controversy about it over the last few years. There was a story earlier this year or last year about. The Batman's girlfriend from The Dark Knight.
Rachel Dratch.
I cannot remember her name, and I am sorry. She's 37, and
in a row.
Yes, and she was told that she was too old to play a 53-year-old man's love interest. That was another of these. Anyway, so Kim Davis, the county clerk of Kentucky, not an old woman, an older woman. If we're talking about ourselves, she's older than us.
See, let me stop.
Let
me stop you.
An older dipshit.
Stop you. I'm stopping you for a second.
Stop.
So
hammer time.
You're jumping on it. You're jumping. You are currently on the same side of an internet outrage. Is what I'm hearing.
What you're. I am on the same side.
Here's where the internet outrage typically with me falls on deaf ears.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I personally don't give a crap that there's a 40-something-year-old woman dating a 40-something-year-old man.
Yeah.
That seems completely reasonable to me in this film. I have no qualms.
Right.
But I don't understand the anger on one side. I don't understand the anger on the other. But there was an episode of Inside Amy Schumer. It was this past season.
Yeah.
And she had, I think it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tina Fey.
Okay.
I forget who else was there.
That's already a pretty good pan if it's Schumer and Fey and Dreyfus.
Yeah, so at least those three. I forget if the other person. I'm sorry if you're listening to the show, which you probably aren't. So fuck off. But they're sitting around and they're talking about it's Julia's last fuckable day.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. I think I have not seen it. Is it worth watching?
It's very funny, and it takes all this outrage and just flips it on itself and makes it funny.
Right. Which
is what you need to do. It's shit like that's like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we need to reconsider. Yes. Instead of just being like, I'm angry,
right,
and I should have what I want. Instead, you should parody the nonsense that it is that, I mean, all three of them, obviously Amy, but like Amy's younger than us, but like...
Yeah, but you're speaking as a comic, as maybe not an active comic, but you're speaking as somebody who comedy speaks to you. That humor, and it speaks to most people.
Yes.
But I think you're absolutely right. I think more often than not, something funny is going to get the point across more than something serious.
Yes, because people get angry when they hear somebody just saying, you need to do this, you need to not, you should be okay with this. And then when the moment you say you should be, I mean, as a parent, like I can imagine you have run into issues where you have told your kid to do something for no other reason than you want them to do it because you're their parent.
Yeah.
And typically, as a child, I've experienced that in my life,
right?
And I was just like, I don't want to, like, give me a good reason to do this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and there is something to be said for the fact that my more conservative relatives and I, the place where we can find
Are we coming back?
Yes,
okay,
I think so. The place where we can find common ground is humor. If we can talk about something George Carlin said ages and ages ago, that typically ends up being the place where we can find some sort of common ground where their pinko commie liberal nephew or whatever is suddenly
speaking of that, we're recording this on Labor Day. We'll come back to that even later.
We will come back to that. So Kim Davis, aka that dipshit, she went to jail finally for the emphasis was probably the emphasis probably gave away.
Here's my problem with
there.
this. It's like they shouldn't have put her in jail. They should have
fired her. Yeah, that part
she is not doing her job. That's not a jailable offense,
right?
I mean, the jailable offense is that she wasn't following the law,
right?
But the when I jaywalked, I'm not getting thrown in jail. This isn't Judge Dredd here.
Yeah, that's the part that's confused me. Is why doesn't she just get fired?
I mean,
is it because it's an elected position?
Yeah, but can't people just say we don't want this person anymore?
I mean,
I'm sure like half the country is saying that.
About who? Yeah, about the president.
Yeah.
But would it be a similar scenario? Do county clerks get impeached? Is that something that happens?
That's something that should happen.
Yeah, if her being jailed is the part again. Similar to you saying, let's use something comedic, like different tactics, right? Like, I don't think this would be half the controversy it is if she were fired instead of jailed. It would be a controversy. The fact that she's being jailed for it, I think, has the people coming out who are on her side, has them coming out stronger. It's sort of just more aggravated, more agitated because she's been jailed instead of just fired.
See, well, if I showed up my job, and you probably, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I'm just saying this out loud.
Yeah.
But if I went to my job and said, the great googly moogly in the sky, that's racist right there, isn't it?
Nah. Maybe a little ping pong, but
Ping pong.
Oh man, I shouldn't. I think that goes back to. I tried to describe that like episode 1. I probably used the phrase more ping pong.
The Phantom Menace.
No, the guy I listen to, Merlin Mann, he uses it sometimes when either he or one of his co-hosts says something that is possibly racist or is close to.
I came up with racism for white people. This I just want to make my point before.
Steve invented racism.
I invented racism for white people, like against white people, like something that might stick, and I'm hoping it does, because then they'll be like, "Where did this come from?" It'd be like, podcaster Steve Woodbury came up with a racial slur for white people.
Okay.
That hopefully will stick and hopefully will be offensive to people.
Got it. You were saying.
So yeah, it's like if I show, I mean, I work in the private sector, so this is like I was hired and I'm working at will. And so I guess this is a different situation. But if I showed up my job and I was like, the magic bean that I pray to doesn't want me to process any of my work at any point today. Yeah. And if you make me do that, then it's against my religion, and therefore you're making it so I can't practice my religion. Yeah. And that is nonsense. I'm sorry. It's there's not like
religious freedom.
What your belief like? No. I was hired to do a thing. Yes. And if I'm not going to do that thing because of my religion, then my job would be to find a career choice that would enable me to
freely practice
my religion and also make money doing a job.
Right. You would say that the onus is on, as long as everyone is aware and things haven't. If somebody fires you somebody can't fire you for worshiping the magic bean.
Yeah. So if I showed up and say I worship a magic bean and then I get fired,
you get fired.
Then that's a problem because
it had no impact on what you were.
I was still doing a good job at my job, and then cool.
You took your 15-minute breaks instead of smoke breaks. You went out and you prayed to the magic bean. Yeah, you got down on the floor and kneeled and prayed to
Fee fi fo fum. That's how I pray to the magic bean.
I thought you could pull off a rhyme there. It's a fee fi fo fum.
I've got something stuck in my bum,
and it's a magic bean.
So yes,
religious freedom though is part of what's being preached here. I'm going to read you something from Daily. Oh,
did it just
friggin' phone? From Daily Kos. Daily Kos? I don't know how you pronounce that. A meme that I reposted over on Facebook, which is not the place for me to repost memes.
You should just do it on Twitter.
I should do it on Twitter.
Where people aren't.
where the people that like to argue with me aren't. So that's
basically what I was.
This is what I reposted. This is a quote from Lambda legal director John Davidson.
Lambda Calrissian?
And he writes...
What does he write?
Or said...
Damn, baby, what are you still hanging out with this loser Chewbacca?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Chewbacca looks like he might be hung. I mean, underneath all that fur, Leia might have known what she was doing hanging out with Chewie. I'm just saying.
No, he was talking to Han... when he was talking to Chewbacca.
Well, maybe
he was referring to Han.
Hey, it gets lonely out in deep space. Maybe Han knew what he was doing hanging out with Chewie too. And when we see them at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, Leia is dressed up like a bounty hunter, but who's she chilling with? She's chilling with Chewbacca. Lando's already undercover. It's Leia and Chewie who've been hanging out.
There was a Space Moose comic where like where the feminists captured Space Moose and froze him in carbonite, and he had like a boner in the carbonite.
Did they use the carbonite boner?
No.
I mean, like as a sexual toy.
No.
All right. This is what John Davidson had to say about Kim Davis. I have to wonder just how many of those supporting Kentucky clerk Kim Davis's refusal to issue marriage licenses based on her religious objection to same-sex couples marrying would support a Quaker government official who refused to issue them gun permits based on a religious commitment to pacifism.
It's a good point.
It's a fantastic point. I want to read you. So I'm glad we're in agreement there. I want to read you the response I got to posting this. No, I will.
Is it fuck you, fag?
No. It's all right. So I will not identify the name of the person here. It is someone that I am friends with on Facebook. And he writes, when did one person's rights outweigh another person's? No one should be forced to do anything that violates their morals or religion. How would you like it if those in charge were pro-gun and required everyone, including you, to own an AR-15? We should not try to ban everything we disagree with, and we should not force people to do things just because we think they are right. That road will lead to loss of freedom, and our countries will no longer be exceptional.
Okay, I'm confused by that statement.
All right, because you
don't have to read it again, okay. But you could try to. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either. I respect the person who wrote it. I know that they happen to be an intelligent person. I think that they are probably a Fox News devotee and very much toe the extreme right side of the party line. That would be my guess. And this,
because like that argument doesn't seem to make sense with the statement that yeah.
I don't. So I mean, it begins with, when did one person's rights outweigh another person's, which is the reason why I say that this person seems to be on the far right is because they are almost so far right that they are saying something that someone on the far left would say, right?
Yeah.
Like, because what he's saying is the same thing that gay marriage advocates are saying, right? When did one person's rights outweigh another person's?
Yes.
He's come right back around, right? No one should be forced to do anything that violates their morals or religion. But to your point, right?
If you're hired for your job as a county clerk is to give people marriage license
based on the law of the land,
give people a duplicate copy of their birth certificate, stuff like that. That's your job.
So
as a clerk at a town office,
a gay person comes in and asks her for a birth certificate. Does she not give it to them? She sees
it's like, you weren't born. Sorry, you're gay. I don't believe in you. You're an illusion.
Yeah. And then so it goes to, how would you? So, yeah, no one should be forced to do anything that violates their morals or religion. You're not being forced, as you said.
Like if
you're employed at will. You're not a slave. She's not a slave to the government. She can fucking quit her job and move along.
Yeah, and go and do a job that matches her what she feels her personal. She can go to Hobby Lobby or the other place that hates
Walmart.
Gays. Or does Walmart hate gays?
Well, Walmart, funded by a lot of the same special interest groups, I'm sure, and is
that's my Jay Leno impression.
And then it comes down to, like, how would you like it if those in charge were pro-gun and required everyone, including you, to own an AR-15? If that was the law of the land, I would be pissed off about it. I don't want to own a gun, but
yeah, I mean, if I did, I'd be like, if it was the law of the land and I could get thrown in prison for not having this gun,
yes,
I would have the gun, but I wouldn't assemble it. I'd have it in pieces, like maybe sitting in the box.
Yeah.
Like you would do with something you didn't want to get for Christmas.
I mean, my first question would be, am I going to jail or am I going to be fined? Because similar to my decision not to have health insurance, if the cost of the fine is less than it costs me to get health insurance, I'm going to take the fine. If it's going to mean jail time, I'll find a way to make it work. I'll own the gun or get the health insurance. But right now, it depends on what the penalty is, right? Yet we should not try to ban everything we disagree with. Again, he's come so far back. He's agreeing with the left, which is that we should not ban gay marriage, which is what this woman is doing. Like this, I don't we should not. These are his words.
Maybe he's agreeing with you, and you don't even know it.
I don't. And we should not force people to do things just because we think they are right.
Right.
I agree.
Maybe he finally, after a long while, like thinks the same way, even though. But I think a lot of people just think the same way, but they just think about different things and whatnot, and it's just a bunch of arguing in circles and whatever.
Yeah, so she went to jail. Kim Davis did,
and now she's a martyr, which is angering me.
And here is the people who are on her side. Here's one thing that they are apparently afraid of. This is a headline from Opposing Views. Kim Davis's lawyer warns Christians of Nazi gas chambers, persecution. Kim Davis's lawyer, Matt Staver of the Christian-based Liberty Council, invoked images of Nazi gas chambers while defending his client, who refused to issue gay marriage licenses last week. Staver made his comments on the Family Research Council radio program Washington Watch, which was hosted by Craig James, reports rightwingwatch.org. James sued Fox Sports in August for terminating him in 2013 for anti-gay comments that he made while running for Texas governor in 2012, noted the Dallas Morning News. Staver told James that churches and pastors would be persecuted next, and later added, quote, "I think most people don't understand, but they're starting to see it now, is that if you believe that marriage is the union of a man and a woman, that alone classifies you, in some people's minds, as a hater, a hate group, that you can't have employment." You know, back in the 1930s, it began with the Jews, where they were evicted from public employment, then boycotted in their private employment, then stigmatized. That led to the gas chambers. This is the new persecution of Christians here in this country.
I don't think it's
We're going to start throwing them to the lions next.
See, I think we've had this conversation before about like Christianity and how a lot of it, like if you read the Bible, there's a lot of good stuff in there. There's a lot of good lessons in there.
Maybe.
Possibly. Have you read it?
Have I? It's been years since I've opened it, but I've read passages.
Okay, so there are some good things in there, but there are these passages that people just magnetize themselves to that says that you can't be gay,
yes,
or you can't do this or that or the other thing.
There's a great West Wing thing that floated up in the wake of all of this. I'll try to link in the show notes where. President Jeb Bartlett, played by Martin Sheen, goes ahead and he's being challenged by a Bible thumper and goes ahead and lists all of the crazy things that are in the Bible, and I'll try to link that up because there are a lot more crazy things, I think, than there are sensible things. But
there are some sensible things, and if you practice a life that like the person that Jesus was, then you would not be a conservative. You would not be a person that's like, I'm entitled to all my money. You would be a person that shares their money.
Yes.
You would be a person that tries to take care of the sick, the poor, the destitute.
The least of all your neighbors.
Yes. Like you would not be like, oh, I want all the bucks and I want to worship this God that I apparently don't think much of.
Yeah, they worship the gods of capitalism. That's what they worship.
God, but you know, Christianity's like for you. I don't know, for some reason attached to a lot of the right, but it just does not gel with that mentality of uber capitalism.
Yeah. It doesn't, no. But
I mean, good for you if you're super into capitalism. You want to fuck the little guy constantly. Good. Yeah, I mean, that's what the law is. It says, please fuck each other constantly, and
that's
not in a
Brigitte
good.
Nielsen did. She fucked the little guy, Flava Flav.
Oh. Is he that little?
I don't. Everyone's a little bit littler than Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah, I'm littler than her. Luckily, she didn't fuck me. So racism.
Let's
bring it back up. Now, we were sitting, went up to Winnipesaukee for, it's Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day-ber, the socialist holiday.
Yes.
That people try to glom on to being an American holiday. And I was just going on my little socialist rant there.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a day. I mean, what is the day in like other parts of the country or other parts of the world? It's not Labor Day. We kind of made it Labor Day and made it in September, so it wouldn't be attached to, I think, one in May.
Right.
That was for labor fighting for the 40-hour work week.
Right.
And labor fighting to good working conditions and not dying at work. And then, I mean, sometimes labor goes too far, and then like it turns, like, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
And there was I was listening to a show on NPR recently, and they were talking about a Chevy plant in California, and they started doing the Japanese style of production plant.
Yep.
And up until that point, the plant was just terrible. And there was so much corruption. There was so much not happening. And then they shut it down, and then they brought all the same people back, all the corrupt, terrible people, and
Right.
they kind of indoctrinated them. They went to Japan because
Mm-hmm.
like there was a joint thing with Toyota and Chevy.
Yeah, I think I've heard
and like
this.
the cars that were made in the mid '80s to the mid '90s, I think, were like a certain amount of them were basically Toyotas, but they had the Chevy logo on
Right,
it.
yeah.
And so like they went to Japan, they learned the strategy of how they wanted to make the car and how like be proud of what you're making, and then things were going really great at that plant. But they couldn't seem to replicate it outside of that because
Yeah.
of just like the way the labor and management worked together, because it was just very adversarial everywhere
Right.
else.
Right.
But I don't
it
know.
worked
So-
there.
But yeah, but like I understand from a certain extent that there is that sometimes labor pushes a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But if we didn't have labor, and we didn't have the unions,
We didn't have unions. We didn't have a movement. We'd probably be
even
probably
more of an
chipping
oligarchy
away at a
than we are
rock,
now.
because we, I mean, both of us are from the lower classes, the plebes, I'd say a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I would say so.
and so we'd probably be chipping away at a giant rock,
Probably.
like 80 hours a week, and probably we'd already be dead because we'd been worked to death.
Yeah, yeah.
If
Inhaling all the
the
coal.
folks at the top had it their way. So thank you all those people that did. Like there were people that died
Yes.
for what we have. We have the 40-hour work week. If we work a second over 40 hours, we get overtime.
Yeah, unless you're salaried.
Unless you're salaried, in which case, you're probably management. So
Yeah.
you're not part of the quote unquote labor anyways.
Oh, well, I
You're
mean,
just a shill for your corporate masters.
I have been salaried as a, how much I want to get into this, I don't know. I mean, I've been salaried. My wife's been salaried. The last salaried job that she had, she was consistently working well over 40 hours a week. I mean, 50, 60 hours a week.
So,
And-
that's why you
and-
got to get out there, the job market,
and
get a
and
better one.
making the wages of someone who was of the lower classes, but being made to work 50 to 60 hours a week.
See.
And of course you could. I won't get into, of course, teaching can be like that when you factor in how many hours any
And you're
teacher
not
works.
in a union. Is there
So
something
there
for
is
that
a union.
for college?
There is a union
So you're like,
that
so
came
yes.
to Leslie and to a lot of the other colleges in Metro Boston. They're working with the adjuncts, and so technically the union represents me, but because there's a difference between the union dues are slightly more expensive than what they call representational fee. I am, I guess, a member of the union, but I am only paying the representational fee, which means I have no voting rights. But I need I need the money. I need every dime I can get. So I am not paying union dues. I'm paying the representational fee, whatever it is. Because it disgusts me. Some of the why we're getting.
It's Labor Day.
Some of the things that the union that now represents me wrote into our contract disgust me, and I'll leave it at that.
They wrote it doesn't benefit you at all.
It actively hurts me.
Personally.
It actively personally hurts me and other professors who were in my position. At least one of the things that's in. I don't know if it's public. I mean, I don't know how much I can talk about it. There is a
for the sake of you not getting in trouble.
Not getting
let's
in
just
trouble.
leave
Not
it at
getting in
that.
trouble. Yeah, there is a clause in the contract between my union and my employer that pisses me off and actively hurts me. So yeah.
Well, let's just talk about fun stuff like racism.
But I mean, that's not to say that they aren't doing good work in other areas and that unions in general aren't doing good work in other areas. I'm just saying that in this one particular case, they have failed their constituency.
Well, the thing is, we shouldn't have to have unions. Like, there should be laws that say that you can't do this.
Yeah.
There shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to have representation.
Right.
You shouldn't have to pay a damn fee to have rights as a person that works.
I shouldn't. I mean, and I also think like I shouldn't have to have a fee for something that I didn't ask to come in and represent me. I didn't ask them to come in and represent me. I didn't vote for them, but because I am part of the group, the class, whatever the technical term is, now regardless of how I feel about them, they represent me. So I have to pay. The fact that I even have to pay a representational fee or whatever it is aggravating to me.
I mean, anybody that's ever anybody that's ever been in a larger rock band or a comedian or any sort of person that has dealt with a union shop or whatever means like we got to be out of here by 11 o'clock because if they have to stay here one extra minute, we just lost all the money we made.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you have to pay attention. And
see, and that's things those things like that I don't like. I mean, it sucks, but be reasonable, for crying out loud. Like, these are performers. These are people that, like, you know, that are fighting tooth and nail to get gigs. I mean, the big performers, not so much. Right. And they can go late, and it's fine. They'll pay the crazy union fee.
Fees, but the smaller time people.
Yeah.
It's, and I mean, with the state of the way that the arts are treated in our country, in our society today, yeah, absolutely. It's the same problem that's everywhere else. The top tier, you know, doesn't have to worry about shit. You know, as much as I'm quick digression, you know, as much as I'm a fan of Apple Music, and that Taylor Swift, you know, went to bat for the artists to get them a better percentage than they get pretty much anywhere else. There's a great piece out there. I shouldn't say it's a great piece. I have not had the chance to check it out.
I haven't seen any of that money yet from people listening to the new Sweethearts on Apple Music. So maybe Dan's just hoarding it.
Maybe he's hoarding it. There's an article out there, or at least one that I've heard of, about how streaming music services in general are screwing the little guy. That a lot of the money as in everything in the way that our economy works, a lot of the money goes to the top 1% of 1%, and the rest of the people are fighting for the scraps. And I mean, that's what we're doing. We're all fighting for the scraps.
See, that's what the trick is.
I know for a fact that person that was arguing with me about the Kim Davis thing, you know, that person is military, or not ex-military, but is military. I know that their family probably struggles to make ends meet, along with a lot of my other conservative friends who, like, they struggle. How have those people been convinced that the Conservative Party is... but
the trick is neither is really beneficial.
That is true. That is absolutely true. But
because they all just basically the only way you can actually ever get elected to public office is to basically, like, just dip your hands into the pockets of the corporations that are going to support you.
Yeah, except for Bernie Sanders.
Well, I guess
he's like many points. He's trending to win New Hampshire.
That's crazy.
He's trending to win fucking New Hampshire. It's absolutely absurd. But it's the truth.
Well, you know, he probably won't want that corporate money, so
yeah.
Let's do Bernie, I guess.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. All right. So so Kim Davis went to jail.
We did talk about that.
Maybe she shouldn't have gone to jail, and maybe she should have just been fired.
That's what I say, but we just went into a very long conversation.
We did just go into a very long conversation. I speaking of the government.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's not go to the government. Let's get a little bit more fun and light.
No. Well, I was gonna go someplace slightly more fun. I think. Well,
let me tell my story about
Fun
Spot.
Oh, yes, that's right.
For Christ's sake, you're just like, I want to talk about the government.
Well, no, it was a ham-fisted transition, referring to a tweet that was going to get us away from the government into something else. But
don't worry about the government. That's what David Byrne says.
Okay, tell us something about Fun Spot.
So we went up there. We were up at Winnipesaukee for the weekend, for the Labor Day weekend, and we got back yesterday. We went to Fun Spot yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Saw our buddy Jules.
Hello, Jules.
He served us some beers. It was good. And it's at one point he got a phone call at the bar, and he picked it up and he says, "Yeah, there's some cupcakes in here for you, and you can come pick them up whenever you want." And then he hung up the phone, and I'm like, "Is cupcakes a new term for white people?"
So that's your term. That's the speaking of cupcakes.
Yeah.
Cupcakes. I like that.
So, yeah.
I mean, you can have cupcakes of all sorts of flavors, though. I mean, it's not just vanilla cupcakes.
No, but like if you say the word cupcake and then you try to attach a race to it, which one are you picking?
I'm
just the word cupcake, no other qualifiers.
A white guy.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, a white guy or a white person in general, not necessarily.
Yeah, white person. Yeah, you could. There could be lady cupcakes.
Could be lady cupcakes.
So yeah, cupcakes is the new racial slur for white people. So get out there and call people a cupcake.
I mean, it's better. So.
Oh wait, actually no, don't call women cupcakes because I think that's isn't that one of those things that you wouldn't want to call a woman?
Well, you probably don't want to call a woman anything.
Besides a respected individual that worked
her
very
name.
hard for her life.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know the woman, you probably don't want to call her anything. You probably don't want to look at her.
Yes, definitely don't look at her.
You probably don't...
don't hold the door.
Don't hold the door.
Oh, what are you nuts? Don't not hold the door.
Don't not. Yeah,
just kind of flip it to them. You know,
it's so hard.
Definitely. Frick! This screws it all up.
What?
Women. They screwed it up again. They screwed up my racism. They did. They screwed up your adorable white race. Yes. Because I can't call a woman cupcake. I can call a man cupcake.
You can call a man cupcake.
But I can't call a woman.
But see, can you call a man cupcake? Because
I can.
Now you're dealing with possible
they'll probably think that
gay slang. Like you might be
like, ooh, this guy's a cupcake.
He's a cupcake.
And see, look, I'm doing like gay stereotype things. We're getting shut down this week.
We are.
God damn it, women! You ruined racism.
We're in trouble. But it is hard. Yeah, cupcake won't work.
Damn it!
Can't work. Got to start working on something else. Sorry, we
sucks. I hate
this. You were so.
I was so psyched. I mean, like, this is perfect.
I found it.
I found the one.
What's wrong with honky? Right? Like, isn't honky good enough? I mean, I guess a white guy couldn't call another white guy a honky. Only a black person.
Where does honky come from?
I don't know. I just know that I know that honky is something at least in like dated movies that men of African descent might say about a white dude.
Yeah, but I want to know where it comes from.
Might be a white honky.
There's cracker. I know where that comes from. But that's hardly like.
What you talk about, cracker?
Well, the thing is, like, the cracker was the person that cracked the whip, right?
Right.
So, basically, you're calling him your superior?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe.
That seems like it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want to.
I mean, maybe there's some hidden understanding of, like the overseer, because the overseer is really.
Well, I'm looking it up.
Just the.
Let's look up cracker first.
The overseer is the master's.
I got ritzcrackers.com.
Ritzcrackers.com. I mean,
cracker pejorative. Got it.
Cracker pejorative. Yeah. I mean, so there's cracker, there's honky, there's whitey, right? Yeah.
All right, cracker, sometimes white cracker or cracka, is a derogatory term for white people, especially poor rural whites in the southern United States.
I think, I mean, I got the feeling that at least from watching Roots: The Next Generations, I think was where I got the feeling.
Roots: The Next Generations,
yeah. Which coincidentally did not have LeVar Burton on it. You'd think Geordie LaForge would be on Roots: The Next Generations, but no.
In reference to a native of Florida or Georgia, however, it is sometimes used as in a neutral or positive context or self-deprecatively.
Uncle Cracker.
With pride etymology, term cracker was certainly in use by the 1760s. Whoa, that was early.
That's interesting.
Derived from the verb to crack, used in the sense to boast. Okay, no.
Oh,
it's not the whip.
Not
cracker.
the whip. It's to crack like. Okay, got.
So you're just walking around boasting how great you are, even though you're not.
Even though you're not, yeah.
So that's all right, but still, all right. That's hardly going to make me feel bad.
It's no cupcake.
It is. It isn't. How about
cupcake?
How about honky? Let's do that.
Cupcake.
I would like people to be able to be racist towards us, and I'm trying to help them out here.
Yeah,
trying to think up a good one.
Trying to give them something. What's
that's my white privilege. Trying to give them some sort of pejorative. Hand it down because they can't think of one themselves.
They can't think of something good. Yeah.
That's my white privilege talking.
Yeah. Maybe we can. So you're looking up that. One of the things I want to look up, because us looking up things on our phones is fascinating.
It's thrilling radio.
Slang for white person. Come on. I want a space.
All right,
not a
honky
period.
is mainly a slur word for white people, predominantly heard in the United States. The first recorded use of honky is back in 1946.
Mm-hmm.
Through the use of honky tonk occurred in films well before the time. The exact origins of the word are generally unknown, and postulations about the subject possible meanings. All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Honky may be a variant of hunky, which was a deviation from bohunk, a slur for Bohemian Hungarian immigrants.
Yeah.
Honky may also be derived from the term honk-dop, nop, I don't know, which is the West African language meaning red-eared person or white person. So it's just basically a word for that. And another documented theory, possible explanation for the origins of the word, is that honky was a nickname black people gave white men called Johns or curb crawlers who would honk their car horns and wait for prostitutes to come out in urban areas. So, looking at the etymology, that one's a little better. I think
a little better.
So they already thought of one. They didn't need my white privilege.
They did not
to bless them with cupcake.
They have an even better one. So I was doing a search for slang for white people, and I came across the racial slur database. And this is the page on whites. And here is a fantastic one that I had never heard before.
Cupcake.
Bacon bits.
Bacon bits. Oh, wait. Because what is it? Bits. Apparently, white people smell like hot dogs and bologna. According to other races.
Apparently, the way that this one came about is bacon bits are white trailer trash that have sex with pigs.
Oh,
that's a bacon.
Well,
bit.
That's very specific.
Betty Crocker refers to white women in general.
Oh, well, you can't do that. No, no.
Bird shit, because bird shit is mainly white.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Shut up, bird shit.
Blue-eyed devil, of course we've heard.
I like bird shit. That's going on the top of my list here.
I'm looking down here. Wow, there's a lot of them. Casper.
No, it's like, oh, but bird shit works because you're being compared to feces, which is terrible. Which is something that is a great pejorative, calling somebody shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Conky. Which is
the robot from Pee-wee's Playhouse
was a combination of Caucasian or cracker and honky. Oh my god! Thank you for the spikes. That's great.
That was the secret word, wasn't it?
Conky. That was conky. That was the.
All right, I'll back up next time. Is that better?
That's better. Flat ass.
I got a
used as a reference to
junky trunk, so I can't
to the flatter backsides of white people and other non-blacks. Gosh, wow, Gilligan, goat roper.
Goat roper.
Yeah, often used as a term for suburban cowboys. Gringo. That's
That's from the
northern
Mexicans.
regions in northern Mexico. Let's see. Oh, I'm only in the H's. Hillbilly, Hoosier, horseface.
But the thing is, like, when you have a thing like Gringo, like I was at Margaritas recently.
Keebler.
Like the elves.
Keebler Health, yeah. Sorry, go on. You were.
I was at Margaritas, and like they have a hamburger on the menu, and it's called the Gringo Burger.
No, that's not that.
So it can't be that bad of a pejorative if it's just sitting on a Mexican restaurant's menu.
Yeah. A couple different ones that involve the N word, which
we'll refrain from those. Opie, like
blacks call goofy whites Opie.
So we'd both be Opies, even though we're not redheads. Still, like, bird shit's still my favorite.
Pasty face, peckerwood, perm sperm.
Perm sperm.
What is this? Meaning they are forever white since they were a sperm to when they were born, though through their entire life they stay white like a sperm.
Oh. No, that's not as.
Pig
I mean,
fucker.
it's more clever than. I thought it was like a sperm with a hairdo or something like that, but
pink toe. They have pink toes. Pleb, derivative of the word plebeian, meaning white middle class common people, used in Australia.
Which I just referred to us as. So.
Powdered donut. Raw chicken, redneck. Reverse Oreo.
So what a reverse Oreo? Black filling?
White slur used by blacks, meaning white on the outside and black on the inside.
Oh.
Okay. Rhythmless nation. Rice.
See, this is the thing. Like, we're sitting here reading this list and finding it hilarious.
Yeah.
But like if anybody called us any of these things, we'd probably laugh.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas a lot of the, and that's probably our privilege talking, right?
No, it's not our privilege. It's the fact that it's hard to be racist against white people.
Yeah.
I say.
Yeah. I will try to put that
because we're just so awesome
in the show notes as well.
And I'm being sarcastic. We're not that awesome. But we're not terrible either.
Yeah. So yeah, Cupcake not going to work. Cupcake. I'm sorry.
All right. Well,
so
maybe next time I'll get back to the
time.
drawing board.
Anything else you want to say about Labor Day? We kind of touched on
that. We did our Labor Day.
Did our
I did my
Day.
Labor Day rant.
All right. So we're
going to lose listeners this year. This time.
This year. That's our goal.
Yeah.
Year over year.
See if we can lose a bunch, at least with this episode.
Speaking of white privilege or of male privilege or of some kind of privilege.
Yes.
This past Friday was Force Friday. Force Friday.
So, okay, hold on. I like when I first saw that, and I was like, is this like a men's movement, like trying to
justify rape?
Yeah.
Force.
That's what first popped in my head when I saw Force Friday, and then I'm like, oh, it's Star Wars. That's okay.
It's
because I was like, that is crazy. Why would they have that on their sign? And I'm like, oh wait.
When Apple was unveiling the Apple Watch last year, that was a thing. A lot of people thought it was very unfortunate that Apple called the technology on the watch Force Touch. Because Force Touch does not sound right.
Yeah, no.
But I think people have gotten over it over time. I remember when the iPad was coming out, a lot of people were like, they will never call it the iPad because of it conjures images of feminine hygiene products. So, I mean, people are weird. But yeah, Force Friday, I was like, what is Force Friday? Who came up with it? I've never heard of it before.
What do you think they could have called it? Go to iTab or something, like an iTablet?
I think that's what they were working on back then. People were like, it'll be iTablet or it'll be, whatever. Nobody had any ideas that were any better than iPad, and they were just all complaining about it at the time. So,
like iMac. You can get this computer, you just plug it in, and all of a sudden you're on the internet.
That's a great sound. That's picking up.
Knee slapper. Stop it.
Sounds like something else.
Gross! Put that away!
Oh, but Uncle Steve. So did you go out on Force Friday looking for toys?
No.
No. So apparently this is the thing. I think it was called Force Friday because the next Star Wars movie is called The Force Awakens, and Force Friday was the day on which all of the, if not all, a lot of the toys for The Force Awakens were going to come out. A lot of people spent time dissecting any little bit of marketing copy that was on the boxes to see if they could figure out anything else about the upcoming movie. But one of the things that I saw was that a lot of people were upset. My friend Brian White, who goes by Cinema Suicide on Twitter, he wrote, "You know what's more disappointing than Force Friday toy shortages? Grown-ass men disappointed that there were Force Friday toy shortages." And it really was a thing. And Brian is a geek. I think I feel safe in saying that. He's a comic book guy. He wrote a site called Cinema Suicide, so he was, which was all about horror movies and cult movies and exploitation films. He digs the stuff, but I wonder if you think he has a point, because I mean, back when Amiibo, was it Amiibo?
Yeah, they're still releasing Amiibo, but there's shortages all the time, and I wanted one of them, and I couldn't get it because I didn't wait in line for long enough. Yeah. I was in a line, but I didn't wait because I was annoyed.
Yeah.
I disagree. Mm-hmm. They're considering the, like, I don't want to be shamed for one. Like, I mean, I didn't want any of these damn Star Wars toys, but like, I wanted the damn Amiibo. Yeah. But like, I don't want to be shamed because I'm a grown ass man waiting in a line for that. Like, if I was waiting in line for Patriots tickets, I wouldn't be judged.
Yeah, except by Jets fans and Colts fans.
No. Well, just the freaking Jim Irsay would be like, "Well, you let air out of your own balls to stand in that line." Fucking dink. We'll come back to that.
Maybe.
Yeah, we got another 10 minutes. But the thing is, don't judge me because I'm like, because I'm an adult with a disposable income, because I didn't, I at a certain point, didn't find the one. So I am currently unburdened with children.
Right. So you have the income.
So I have the income, so I could buy a toy if I want to.
For yourself rather than for your kid.
Yes.
Yeah. While at the same time I see where Brian is coming from, because there was a lot of sort of like disposable income, white male privilege crap going on.
Enough with privilege, I know. Please. I was using it ironically earlier. Let's not do it anymore.
No, but there were a lot of stories I saw on the internet of like guys who had enough money to fly from San Francisco to LA to stand in line at a toy shop they thought they might have a better chance of securing something like that at. Now, here's the other thing. This is where I think, and maybe there's some subtlety lost in 140 characters, because I don't necessarily think Brian would be trying to shame you. I don't know for sure.
I'm gonna write him angry tweets and try to get him kicked off Twitter. I'm not doing
one of the things that I thought was because there were other people who were looking for, I think is it BB88? Oh, don't send me email. Or do send me email. Shame me. It's been a while since we got an email.
Yeah, get mad, everybody.
The little robot droid that we've seen in the first couple of trailers for The Force Awakens, the one who's like a head on top of a ball.
Yeah.
And apparently they've made
great design.
They've made working versions of him that you could find at the Apple Store in particular, but maybe you could find it at other places. And so I thought it was interesting to watch people not complain, but document their process of like trying to find this. In the same way that when you talked about the Amiibo, I didn't see you as complaining. It was more like, shit, I tried to find this. And I think there's a distinction between like somebody who's really interested in something and trying to track it down, and somebody who feels like the world is against them and they've been robbed of something because Hasbro or whoever made the toys didn't make enough of them.
Well, that was the case with Nintendo, actually. But I don't feel wronged, and I eventually got one thanks to my sweetie. But
what I'm saying is like you don't feel as though it is your right to have that Amiibo. right?
I mean, if I wanted, like, prior to getting it, if I wanted to go on eBay and pay like $50 or $100 for it, I could have.
You could have, and you decided not to.
Yeah, because I didn't want to feed into the culture of people that are just buying them to
resell
them.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a distinction there. I don't.
But then again, I did find something at a yard sale this weekend, which was a Dragon Ball Z. They released these collections called the Dragon Box, which were I think they went for about $60 when they came out. I found one that was completely wrapped. There was a little corner that was open, but I looked on eBay after I picked it up because I got it for like maybe $2-3.
Yeah.
It's worth in between $150 and $225.
Wow.
And I'm like, ooh. So, but this was not something that I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to a yard sale and find something that I'm going to resell. But like, I've seen all the episodes of Dragon Ball many, 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 many times. Right. So I'm like, why not just try to sell this and make a little extra cash?
Why not? Cash is good.
But I'm not like sitting there at Best Buy, like when the Dragon Box first came out in 2011.
yeah.
And just like, oh my God, I need to get all of these so people that actually want them can't have them, and I can charge exorbitant amounts of money.
Yeah.
I lucked into getting one real cheap.
Got it.
Which is, I think there's an important distinction there. So before you judge, fuck yourself.
You know who else lucked into something this week?
Who?
Tom Brady.
He didn't luck into anything.
he had his suspension overturned by a judge in New York City.
You mean the suspension that never should have occurred in the first place?
Yoni Applebaum on Twitter wrote, New England Patriots, successfully defying the arbitrary abuse of executive authority since 1775. Aw, we've been doing it all the time.
There's a trick.
We started this whole damn country by defying abuse of executive authority.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But the trick is,
King George was deflating. No.
Even if
I can't figure out this metaphor.
I think one of my original points was if the PSI of these footballs is so important to the football game, then the balls should not be the charge of each of the teams. It should be the charge of the officials. Mm-hmm. The officials should be the ones that are in charge of the inflation of the balls, not the two different teams.
Yeah.
And if it's that important, they should have been checked at the beginning of the game.
Right.
At halftime and at the end of the game.
Yes.
And if they were wrong, they should have been replaced.
But as far as we know, they weren't wrong. Right? As far as we know, all of this traces back to one tweet by Chris Mortensen, right? I think it's Chris Mortensen that went out there. That was what started the whole thing. Everyone focused in on that. We know that the Wells report, the supposedly independent report, is full of shit, right? We know nothing more than we knew back when the Patriots won that game against the Colts, which is that they fucking trounced on them.
I was watching this thing on National Geographic Channel today, and it was about different events in the 90s, and they were talking about the OJ trial, and basically there was a shit ton of evidence against him.
Right.
But they basically Johnny Cochran was like, oh, this is all the LAPD manufacturing evidence against him.
So you're saying that Brady did it and all the evidence...
No. What I'm saying is, even with all that evidence, OJ still got off for that crime. He's in jail for something else now. For trying to steal his memorabilia back, I think was the thing.
Oh, that what was? I was like, I can't remember. I had forgotten that he got in trouble after that.
Yeah, so he's in jail currently.
Yeah. Makes sense, I suppose.
But yeah, if this was a real trial, and not Roger Goodell saying, you did this, you're suspended for 4 games. What evidence?
Right.
The evidence they have is that Tom Brady destroyed a phone. That is not evidence.
It's not evidence.
If you are Tom Brady and you get a new phone, you destroy the old one because you don't want anybody that to take your information.
Right. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I just think I'm glad that the whole well, it's not over because the NFL is appealing. But for now,
if they lose the appeal, they're just going to look like assholes. They already do, but
yeah, they do. They
and I think more and more people are like there are still plenty of Patriot haters out there that still are like, bro, you should be kicked out of football for whatever it is that he did,
that he supposedly did. Yeah,
the trick is like. If he did do it, he should have just come out with it.
Yeah,
and
I think
even if he didn't do it,
dude did it. I mean, I
don't think that Brady did anything, and there might have been someone that did anything, but I legit don't think that he had any involvement with it. But there are people that say, hey, I liked my balls. Inflated a little bit more or a little bit less, and that's different quarterbacks like different things, and maybe the guys in the grounds crew, or well, not the grounds crew, the equipment management team like knew that Brady liked it a little bit less, and maybe the fact that it was a little bit less, and then the fact that we were scoring so many points, like and having heavy football players fall on this ball, it might have lost a little bit more.
Might have.
So it might have like at the start of the game been within the range, but still a little bit low. And by the time they tested it at the half, they were like significantly lower because it was a cold day, and then had football players falling on it.
Right. But we don't even know. Aren't we at the point where we don't even know if the initial reports of any of that stuff was even true in the first place? We don't know if anything actually was deflated.
So you can't take that case to court and expect to win if you have no evidence.
Right. And of course, what people will point to is that the judge did not say that Brady was not guilty of what he did. All he said, was that he couldn't be punished in this particular way because he wasn't notified of I did not read the decision. I only paid attention to all the particulars so much. All I really cared about is, can the dude play or can he not play? Because I don't believe he did it, but I also believe wholeheartedly that he will never be cleared in the court of public opinion. People hate winners. People hate.
I mean,
there are so many incompetent people in this country that they hate any show of competence.
The trick is except for A-Rod, for the majority of the Yankees teams that kicked our asses so many years, I as much as I begrudge them, I have respect for a lot of those players.
Yeah. I had a boss who was from the same hometown as Derek Jeter, and he was not from Boston. He was from Michigan. And so he had no stake in the game of liking the Sox versus the Yankees, except that now he was working in Boston. And he would tell me about how great Jeter was, great to the community, like a great human being. And so, I'm with you. That there's a lot of those guys, A-Rod aside, that I have a very it was a grudging respect, and now that a lot of them are retired, it's not a grudging respect.
Yeah, there's no grudging anymore.
Yeah,
like Mariano Rivera.
Holy shit.
That guy destroyed us on so many occasions.
I hated the fucker.
We got him once and managed to get to the World Series because of it.
Yes, but
and then we eventually got him a lot more as he got older, and he lost his stuff a little bit there.
Yeah.
But that guy's an amazing pitcher, and I I wish he could have come to the Sox.
Yeah,
that's the kind of guy you wanted as your closer.
Absolutely.
And it's the kind of guy that Steinbrenner would have traded away at a certain point.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Which is why that those teams of the late mid to late 90s of the Yankees were great, is because they had all this talent they were bringing up from the minor leagues that was just spectacular. Posada, Jeter.
Yeah,
Rivera, if they had traded those guys away, they would not have won the World Series they did at the end of the century.
Yeah. Well, since we moved to Red Sox, I got to ask you this: and in terms of respect and grudging respect, John Gruber, who is the preeminent Apple blogger, the guy, he runs daringfireball.net. I hope I got the domain extension there right.
More like .org /tilde.
He is a huge Yankees fan. And the other day he posted, I'll try to link this in the show notes. He mostly posts about Apple, but he is not afraid to post about baseball, which he loves, and especially about the Yankees, which are his team. But he posted about Don Orsillo, the commentator for the Sox.
We didn't talk about this.
We did not talk about this. I
We
don't.
might have to go a little late this time.
We either
I
go
was
later.
I was actually really mad.
Yeah, maybe I don't think we touched on it last time. Yeah.
When I heard about it, they were like, "Oh, well, ratings are down, so we'll have to do something." Like, what? Fire one of the best guys that calls the game?
And then it really freaked me out. I'm going to see if I can pull up because as much as I hate every time Gruber talks about baseball on Daring Fireball because he is such a Yankees homer.
Whatever.
He had a fantastic point. The way that he summed this up. The title of his article, and Daring Fireball, if you're not familiar with it, is mostly a link blog. So he posts usually an intro and then a quote and then follows up on it. So title of the article is Boston Red Sox fire beloved play-by-play announcer, then ask him to tweet that he wasn't fired. So this is Gruber's take. This is a really bizarre story. I'm a Yankees fan, so I don't watch many Red Sox telecasts, but I've watched a few over the years via my MLB at Bat subscription when the Sox were playing important games down the stretch. Orsillo is a great announcer. It's no surprise that fans are upset. Here's a tip to the Red Sox organization. A better way to re-energize the team's telecasts would be to field a team that isn't in last place. And that hurt. But
yeah, it was a little bit of a dig there at the end. But
oh, of course. but
he's right.
You don't fire Orsillo because the team I want to understand how that happened. And it really weirded me out because I haven't watched a lot of games, but it was on the TV yesterday here at the house. And Orsillo was there with Remy, and they
have like one of the best rapports.
Great rapport. You wouldn't even know that the dude's about to lose his job.
Yeah, and he's the fact that he's so professional, he's still doing a great job is evidence that they really should not fire that guy.
It's not like he's getting old. It's not like he's lost his touch. I mean, I don't.
I remember on many a game that I would watch back in the day. I mean, I don't have NESN.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the many reasons why.
Right, why you don't watch as many. Yeah,
and that might be a lot of the reasons why a lot of people aren't watching the. Well, one of them is that we suck. Another thing is people are cutting the cable cord.
Yeah,
and NESN is a cable station, so if people do not have cable, they can't watch it. They have to listen on the radio, or they go to a sports bar.
Right.
And you're not getting extra ratings for, a tube that's on at a sports bar.
I don't know. Where does Orsillo go? That's the
He could easily do any sort. He can go to MLB Network and have a job in a second. Guys like that do not stay unemployed because he's a great guy.
He's a great announcer, and the fact that he's being as professional about it as he seems to be down the stretch.
Yeah, at least in the public view, he's doing everything the right way.
Yeah,
I feel bad for Jerry Remy because those two just have a great chemistry together. And I remember so many times where it'd be a lull in the eighth or ninth inning. Or maybe it was a tie game and it was well into extra innings where they're just cracking each other up. Because
what do you do?
When you announce a football game, when you announce a hockey game, you are constantly being like, oh, he passes to such and such, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or if it's football games, it's like, oh, we got the football and blah, 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 and he's throwing it, blah, 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 blah.
That was pretty good.
I should be a
hockey
football announcer. The new combination sport
hockey
of both
ball.
of the hockey ball. But then they would just say but he would talk about something silly, or they would be talking about something, or Jerry would say something silly, and then they'd laugh about it, and there's the pitch. Oh, low and inside, ball 4, he walked him. And then they go back to what they were talking about. It was seamless.
Yeah. Yes.
He would make the calls. He would still do his job.
Right.
Because if you were just listening to the game in the background, you could still know what's going on. Yeah. Even though there's silly conversation in between it.
Yeah. It was one of the things that made watching games over the last however many years.
I think at least I'd say since 2001, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, they were certainly there back during as early, if not earlier, as 03, right? I mean, they were there.
Yeah, they were definitely there during the championship runs.
Yeah.
Of 03, 04. Well, we didn't make it on 03, but
right. But I remember watching a lot of games that year. Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of our teams they make great decisions for a while, and then they make crappy decisions, and that's kind of what it is to be a Boston sports fan.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. Maybe they'll figure something out, get their heads out of their asses. I think you have a great point about it being a cord cutter thing, and NESN trying to figure out what the hell to do with themselves. I was listening to something yesterday where one of the guys was talking about cutting the cord, and one of the reasons he had held on as long as he did to his cable subscription was for the live sports and things like that. And that's really the only thing that holds a lot of people on, is live sports, the debates, stuff like that. When you're talking about things that are on your basic cable, one of what he's going to end up doing, what he's already tried, is he ended up buying an HD antenna. And apparently he's got great line of sight to wherever the towers are, because he says he hasn't noticed a thing. He gets great clarity, in fact, because it's not being compressed. It's just straight over the air, and it's not coming through a cable. So, I mean, all these companies have a lot to worry about as things become increasingly digital, but making dumb decisions like firing
somebody that a lot of people love and respect,
who's one
not
of the
a good
reasons
idea.
That you probably stick around and you
would watch the game, you would have it on in the background, you would have it on while you had dinner, just because like these guys are fun and they're fun to listen to.
Yeah, no, it's a bummer.
All right, well, we went way over.
We went way over. That's all right. So you can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/58. That's 58. You can find me on the interwebs, specifically on Twitter at ECC1977.
And you can tweet me on the Twitter at the Twitter on the Twitter at symbol Tuesday is loser.
Now you're going to spell it all out.
at symbol
Tuesday.
E. You can't even spell. You put an I there.
AYIS.
Tuesday is loser. At Tuesday is loser.
All one
and then
word.
Tweet me and call me Cupcake.
Call him Cupcake or Bacon Bits.
Bacon Bits or Bird Shit.
Bird Shit. And of course, with your moolah, with the money that you're not spending on our podcast, because our podcast is free, you should buy a copy of The Ape's Choice, which is available on iTunes and Amazon, Google Play, all your major music places. You should pick up a copy of Geek Force 5, my literary magazine, which came out last week and is 5 stories for as little as $3.
Yeah, $3 for 5 stories.
$3.
What a bargain!
What a bargain! And of course, you can send money to my Patreon or to the show itself through the links in the show.
Yeah, give us your disposable income, people.
Because you don't need to spend it on
you don't need to spend it on.
Yeah.
Let's cut it short, bird shit.
All right. Bacon Bits.